We went from Slovakia to Canada in the pursuit of my parents' dream.
Miriam Martinkova was 4. Her brother Adrian Martensa was 8. Then they moved to North Carolina 14 years ago. They're here on an E-2 visa.
Our family pretty much had to prove to the United States government that we have a business here and we have the opportunity to invest and create jobs.
They run a tech company and a nonprofit, Technology for the Future, that puts computers in students' hands. This year, they donated more than 10,000 to schools in Guilford County and around the country.
Pretty much we were thrown into this front lines crisis of we are now the ones responsible for making sure that children can continue their educational journey.
They're on what's called an I-94. Their visa allows them to come to the U.S., and it wasn't set to expire until 2023. But that I-94 gives them permission to stay for 2 years at a time. Adrian tells me they've always had to cross the border by a certain date and get a new one when they cross back into the U.S. While trying to get computers out to 2 schools last month, they overlooked their deadline by 2 weeks.
So as soon as we found out, we quickly drove up to the Canadian border in Buffalo because we knew at that point that we were late, and we were told that we just need to go to the border and renew it.
They tell us we are arrested, and I start shaking, obviously, because I don't break rules. The worst thing I've done is get a parking ticket.
They had 2 choices: wait for a judge to hear their case or agree to leave the country.
I was really concerned because what they told us was that if the judge decides that we did overstay and that we had to leave, it would essentially begin the process of an actual deportation, which results in a ban. And I think that's my greatest fear.
So they decided to leave, and now the clock is ticking. They have until June 21st.
It doesn't matter what we were doing, it doesn't matter what we do. We were late, and that's all that matters.
There are instances where even if it's been a matter of days or weeks, less than a month, those are some harsh consequences that can, if you fail to maintain your status.
I asked U.S. Customs and Border Patrol if there's been any kind of grace period during the pandemic. They say there is no grace period, and non-citizens can access the I-94 website if they need a reminder. David Long is an immigration attorney. He does not represent Adrian and Miriam. He says exceptions do happen sometimes.
You may call it a grace period where they say if the violation of status was through no fault of your own, and what does no fault of your own mean? That's a kind of a nebulous term.
You may be asking, why don't they just become citizens? Well, it's not that simple.
The way you can get citizenship as an immigrant is to get a green card, and from a green card then apply for citizenship. But with our current visa, we don't also qualify for a green card, so we don't have a path.